And we have a wonderful speaker next. It's Silvija Aleknaite, and she is a Web3 and blockchain developer. And of course, she will be talking about that topic, especially how to go from zero coding knowledge to Web3 developer in 12 months. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Silvia, and today I'm going to tell you how to become, slides please, how to become a Web3 developer in 12 months without any previous experience. So, I'm Silvija Aleknaite. I'm a front-end developer and a co-founder of a blockchain developers collective, the Coded Labs. However, just 2 years ago, I would have introduced myself as an events manager. I organized big festivals and conferences like this one. As you can imagine, it wasn't the best time to be an events manager. When the pandemic hit and we went into lockdown, I became unemployed overnight. I had two options: finding a way to work with events during the pandemic, or starting something new. I really wanted to give events a chance, so me and my friend started a wedding organizing business. Weddings were somewhat allowed at the time, so that was... Slides are being naughty. Yeah, so I went from events organizing to wedding organizing, and it was actually very different. But before I started organizing weddings, I had to create a website for our business. I didn't need to code back then because I built it on WordPress theme, but I still did some style tweaking and played with the code a bit. And I actually really enjoyed it. When I started organizing weddings, like real, actual weddings, I realized how different they are from conferences or festivals. They're very personal celebrations, so they has to be perfect. Everyone hopes to only have one in their lifetime, and wedding organizers has to ensure that everything goes to plan, everything is perfect, and everyone's happy. So it's really hard and responsible job. Soon I realized that I liked creating a website more than I liked organizing weddings. So I gave events organizing a fair chance, but it was obvious that it's time to start something new. So I signed up for a 6 months full-stack web development course. That course was really hard at the beginning because I had zero knowledge of coding, and I felt like there's no possibility for me to learn it. I felt too stupid, exhausted all the time, and that is just too hard. But the time passed by, and I noticed that it's getting easier and easier. The only thing I did was just showed up every day and studied and learned a lot. During those 6 months, I learned 6 lessons, and one of them, the first one, is that basics are key. And by basics, I mean the fundamentals of coding, the things that show up in every coding language. When you master them, you're good to go with anything, and you'll learn easier and faster everything that comes after the basics. The second lesson was that rest is important, and by that I mean don't overstudy and overwork yourself, because at first it was very, very hard to learn, and I noticed that the things that took me 2 hours to do in the evening when I'm tired took me 12 minutes, not 12, 20 minutes to do in the morning when I'm happy, rested, and recharged. So save your brains. The third lesson was that no one knows everything. Even senior programmers need to look for answers. So that's why Google is the most used programmer's tool. The fourth lesson is that every problem has a solution. And it might not be obvious or straightforward, but it's always there. Um, at first, it was really hard for me to believe that I am smart enough to be a coder. Like, I kept asking myself this question, but then I realized that, okay, it's not about being smart, it's about problem solving. And the more problems I solved, the better I got as a programmer. And because every problem has a solution, it means that there's a way to find it. And the more problems I solved, the better I got, the better I felt about myself as a coder. However, towards the end of the course, I started doubting myself if I could find a job or like internship, because there are so many better coders than me. And the thing is, the job market is so big, they want all of us. Even if all of us get jobs in tech, they still need more people. So don't worry about others. They're not your competition. They're only colleagues that you can learn from. So unfortunately, it wasn't enough to finish 6 months course to get a job. I didn't have enough experience or knowledge to become a real developer, even junior developer. So I decided to practice and learn more during the summer. I promised myself that I would create a website, a portfolio website, during the summer, but I didn't. I only did 2 other things. I decided to become a front-end developer and participated in a hackathon. So in tech, there are many different positions that you can work in. For tech side, you can be like back-end developer, front-end developer, like data analyst, tester. Like there's so many positions, and if you want to work in tech, you don't even have to know programming. So choosing what to do in tech is actually a quite big decision. And when you choose it, when you choose your specialization, you know the way to go, what you need to learn. So when I chose to focus on front-end development, by the way, why I chose it, for me it was because of my previous experience. I worked a lot with visuals during my previous career, so it made sense for me to go into the visual heavy side of web development. So when you're trying to look for something that you want to do in tech, try different things and see what feels the most natural for you. So when I decided to be a front-end developer, I started looking at the job listings and made a list of everything I didn't know at the time and started learning. To put my learnings into practice, I participated in hackathon. It was about blockchain, NFTs, and digital art. For me, it didn't make sense. The only thing I understood was digital art, but that was enough for me to apply. During the hackathon, I didn't learn that much, to be honest, but it was a great addition to my CV, and it was one of the reasons why I got the job in Web3, so it was worth it. After my not so productive summer, I decided to go back to school. This time it was DevBridge Sorcerer Academy. So tech companies noticed that not all junior developers have enough experience to start their career in tech. So they decided to produce these academies for junior developers, where they can learn good practices of coding, gain some practical and theoretical knowledge, and also show how they work in a team. After these academies, the best performing students gets jobs. The company invites them to the job interviews, and those who perform good, they become real developers in that company. So it's a win-win situation, really good practice. So I participated in a DevBridge Sorcerer Academy, and during it, I got a taste of what it feels like to work in a big tech company. I instantly fell in love with my team, with the offices, the work structure. Everything seemed so amazing. And it became my dream to work at DevBridge. I did everything I could to become one of those best performing students that gets an invitation after the academy to work at a company. Unfortunately, very soon I noticed that my My teammates are much better at coding, like so good. And I started like doubting myself and feeling inadequate that I won't ever succeed. But that was actually not true, because at the same time, I noticed that I'm the first who takes initiative, asks questions, and build relationships. That made me realize that all of us have our unique strengths that make us irreplaceable. And knowing those strengths are really important and is the key to success. So I didn't receive the invitation to the job interview, but all the learnings, all the things, all the experience I got during the academy made me realize and made me confident that I will definitely find a job elsewhere. So I started looking for a job. I was looking for a remote front-end developer position that paid 1,000 euros a month and had an environment where I could learn and grow and learn from senior developers. As any job search expert would say, I did everything wrong during the job search. I didn't choose one company and put all of my energy into getting a job there. I didn't know where I wanted to work, so I just applied everywhere I found interesting. I also didn't limit myself to Lithuania. I was looking for a remote position, so it didn't matter where it is. I was just looking for the similar time zone. At the same time, I did other mistakes too. But it wasn't a mistake, but I didn't network at all. It felt too awkward for me, so I skipped that part completely and did my best to make a good impression during the interviews. I also didn't write motivational letters because I'm just too lazy for that. And I opted for quantity instead of quality. I sent out 26 applications and participated in 11 interviews. Some of them were second rounds with the same company, and also did 5 technical assignments. Job search is a hard task. It really wears on you, so I'm really happy I had an amazing support system from Women Go Tech Mentor and the whole community. And other thing that inspired me was success stories, like other success stories. So when I found an event where a woman I used to work with told her career story, how she turned from lawyer to front-end developer, I needed to listen because that's very inspiring. That's exactly what I want to do. That story actually was something else. She told us about all the hardships she had to go through to become a successful developer. She coded for like 16 hours a day for multiple months, And even when she got the job, she still took days off to finish her tasks. So I was terrified, because if that's what it takes to become a good developer, like successful developer, I don't know if I could take it. This is too much for me. Just a few days ago, before that event, I got the job offer. It was very vague, so I didn't expect much. But the interview about the offer, about the job itself, was right after that scary story that literally made me panic and doubt my ability to become a developer. I considered canceling, but remembering that interview was without a camera, I showed up relieved that they won't see my red after cry face. So this is the video I filmed after the interview. So today is 2022, February 11th. And I think I found a job. I just talked about Tom. And he offered me to work with him as a front-end developer. So that's an amazing opportunity. He's working with NFTs, blockchain, Ethereum wallets, and things like that. I'm not sure about the whole boarding thing, but I was interested in blockchain for a while now, and I'm super grateful to be working in the field of blockchain. So this is my first job. I've been looking for a front-end developer job for three weeks now. I hoped for an office position, but I got into a startup that has no rules and no limitations. I'm going to be paid in cryptocurrency, so I really don't know if it's a real job, but I had to take it. It's just too interesting. I'm going to learn about protocols, contracts, yeah. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy to get this opportunity, and that's all because I participated in just some random hackathon. So that's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, I didn't know anything about Web3 back then, but the job was just too good to be true. Not to be true, but like it offered me exactly what I was looking for, so I couldn't pass it. So because I didn't know anything about NFTs, crypto, blockchain, I needed to learn everything. So I immersed myself into the world of Web3. I learned so much during the first week that it was like very eye-opening. And to put all my learnings to practice, I created my first blockchain app. Here you go. It's pretty cute. And we immediately started using it, so it was really fun to see it online. Also, Web3 is actually a very interesting place on the internet, so please let me tell you about it. To understand what is Web3, we first need to understand what is Web 1 and Web 2. So some of you may actually remember Web 1. Between 1991 and 2004, the internet was just a bunch of static pages, meaning when you loaded them, they just showed some stuff, and that was it. There were no logging in or interacting with posts or viewing analytics. It was just like one big Wikipedia page hyperlinked together. After that came 2004 with the interactivity of the internet, which is Web 2. So from 1991 to 2004, a lot of things changed, and the main thing was the interactivity, meaning that not only we get information from pages, but pages started getting information from us. As we viewed Facebook and YouTube and performed Google searches, these big centralized companies started collecting data about us and to show us better content, so we stay on their websites longer. It brought them more money, but eventually they realized that they can package all the data they have about us and sell it to advertisers. So Web 2 is basically about targeted advertisement and privacy issues for users. Web 3 is still being developed and is evolving all the time, so there's no universally accepted definition yet. What is clear, though, is that it puts a huge emphasis on decentralization and make a heavy use of blockchain-based technologies. To start your career in Web3, you have to, if you want to start your career in Web3, you need to do two things. First, you need to learn about the whole Web3 ecosystem. So it means you need to learn what is blockchain, what is crypto, NFTs, all of these things. And the other thing you need to do is participate in a hackathon. This way, you'll have both knowledge and experience to show while looking for jobs. And the Web3 jobs are actually pretty cool because it's still very new area, so there are no experts yet. If you hop in now, you become one of the first in this ecosystem. So you get to shape the future of Web3. You can easily become a co-founder of a cool startup or come up with $1 million idea. So it's really cool place to be. And it's also it's a bit different from Web 2. Almost all jobs are remote. Salaries are higher than what Web 2 offers for the same positions. And yeah, there are no experts yet, so it's a good chance to become a first one to learn something or to create something. So job search is like a very huge thing, and career change is even bigger. It seems it's like a leap of faith, and it actually is. It requires you to change your mindset, your routines, your identity even. You have to start believing different things about yourself. So it is a huge thing, but it's very normal as well, because as we grow and we learn more things about world and about life in general, about us, new dreams emerge, and we must follow them to live a happy and successful life. So yeah, that's what it is. So if you have like any questions or want to share your story about your career change, you can write me a message in LinkedIn, or we also have like a minute if you want to ask a question now. Okay, no questions, so keep all of them in your head or in your phone and write me a message after. So thank you for listening. I wish you all the best if you are changing your career, and remember that you're not alone. A lot of people are changing their careers, and it's a completely natural thing. You can do it. Thank you.
That was awesome.